The wind cut through the city like a blade that morning, slicing through the narrow spaces between the towering glass buildings and carrying with it a cold that felt strangely personal, almost deliberate. Emma Hayes stood outside the mirrored entrance of the corporate high-rise where she worked, her fingers trembling uncontrollably as she held her arms close to her body. The world blurred through the veil of icy air swirling around her, but the heaviness inside her chest had nothing to do with the weather. She had left home in a rush, after a night of fear, guilt, and tears she didn't want anyone to see, and now here she was, shivering physically and emotionally, stranded without a coat in the bitter morning frost. She didn't expect help. She didn't expect kindness. She certainly didn't expect him. If you believe the world still needs kindness, compassion, and second chances, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It truly helps and spreads these stories far and wide. Emma tried to steady her breathing as people hurried past her, each one wrapped in thick jackets, scarves, and gloves, barely glancing at her. She felt invisible. Not in the poetic sense, but in the painful way one feels when the world continues moving without acknowledging that someone is silently falling apart. She kept thinking about the argument from the night before, her partner slamming the door, accusing her of caring more about her job than their life together, raising his voice in ways that made her shrink even though she was trying so hard to appear strong. She barely slept. She barely existed this morning. She had simply walked out, forgetting her coat on the chair, forgetting breakfast, forgetting everything except the pressure in her chest. That was when she noticed him walking toward her. She recognized him vaguely, Michael Turner, one of the project managers from another department. She had only spoken to him twice, in hurried hallways or during brief moments before meetings. He seemed quiet, gentle, the sort of man who listened more than he spoke. She didn't expect him to look at her now, much less stop. Yet the moment he caught sight of her shivering form, something shifted in his expression. There was no hesitation, no awkward pause, and no need for explanation. Instead, he simply slipped off his warm, gray jacket and extended it toward her with a decisive, unspoken insistence. Before Emma could say a single word, he draped it around her shoulders and walked past her without waiting for gratitude, without asking why she was shaking, without turning back even once. For a moment, Emma just stood there, stunned. The jacket still held the warmth of his body, wrapping around her like a protective cocoon she didn't realize she desperately needed. It wasn't just warmth. It was kindness. And she hadn't felt anything like that in a long, long time. She clutched the jacket around herself and went inside. The rest of the day blurred together, meetings, emails, deadlines, but her thoughts kept drifting back to Michael's quiet gesture. There was something profoundly grounding about the simplicity of it. No conditions. No expectations. No attempts to pry into her suffering. It was just a moment of humanity in a world that sometimes felt mechanical and cold. But kindness, once received, has a way of settling into the heart and refusing to fade. The following days were difficult. Her relationship at home was deteriorating fast. Doubts and fear were beginning to overshadow everything she did. She felt trapped, cornered between the life she had built and the reality she didn't want to admit. There were moments she felt herself slipping into a silence that went deeper than sadness, something like a quiet surrender. But strangely, each time she put on Michael's jacket, because she ended up wearing it the next few mornings, she felt a small, stubborn spark reminding her that maybe she deserved more than what she was accepting. Michael didn't mention the jacket, didn't ask for it.